Welcome to Writing Daily. The ghost of Christmas past returns, and I'm trying to get back into the swing of things before we do. My name is Devin Galladay, the editor-in-chief of In the Know Traveler, as well as the author of the now published memoir, 10,000 Miles with My Dead Father's Ashes. Welcome. As always, we talk about things that are about writing and the writing life and how you get certain things done. And anyway, this is what we do this. We actually did this pretty much every single day for 6 months. And so after and during, like right immediately before the book launch and immediately thereafter, there was just all this stuff that was going on. And so I had to take a little bit of a time out, in part for my sanity, in part because there was just so much work that was sort of like constantly being moved about. So that said, I just want to catch you up really quickly with what happened with 10,000 Miles. So there's this launch, right? There is this magical, mystical day where all of a sudden Amazon is sending books, and you could order it or buy it at your local bookstore and Barnes and Noble and IndieBound and all that kind of fun stuff. And I'm a middle-aged guy, so I was assuming that things would just kind of go where they go. And the truth of the matter is that's true. But like, I guess what I want to say is I feel no difference. And that all said, like, the book went to #1 in several smaller categories. Like, I'd love to say it went to #1 in memoir, but that means I would be competing with the president or past presidents or something like that. And by the way, welcome Lincoln and welcome Allison. And so it's this interesting thing. So my story's out there. Matter of fact, I think it's gotten now 25 5-star reviews on Amazon. I'm not saying that like as a bragging thing. It's kind of more like a, wow, this thing actually happened and it took place. And, I'm getting lovely feedback, and I'm going to an event tonight. I'm actually doing the Los Angeles launch this evening. And I'm still trying to sort out how I'm supposed to feel about all of this. And what I can say is that as time goes on, like, even though it started off really strong, there's still also an element of you just have to keep working at it. There's this moment, like the launch has taken place. I think it's probably done quite well. Like, we did a Long Beach reading a couple weeks ago. And before that, there was something in Mexico. And then there was sort of like the official pre-launch launch that was done at Rorschach. And all these events went, I think, really well. And, again, you're getting good feedback on the book. But now I'm at that place of, okay, so all that work that was done sort of in the launch and all of the interviews that I've done now, which, by the way, I've probably done about 40 interviews in the last month or two. That's probably over an exaggeration, but not by a lot. Certainly 25 interviews over the last several weeks, as many as 4 a day. And I'm answering mostly the same questions over and over again. And I'm not sure what to expect or how this stuff will manifest. And by the way, Elizabeth, welcome, and Mark, welcome. Thanks for being here. I'm just doing a brief catch up on what's happening with the book and how it all manifests now that it is out in the universe. I think perhaps my one main fear was how my mother would respond to the book, and nothing. Really, I expected, and I think that's kind of what's happening across the board, is that while it's reached bestseller category or status in several categories and has done well in the UK, all of which I'm really proud of, there is just this kind of pervasive reality that the show has just started. Like, I think probably somewhere in the back of my mind, I was hoping that the launch would just take care of everything, that people would get it and their friends would tell their friends, and it would just sort of mushroom cloud. And, the truth of the matter is, if you're like me, everybody's vying for my attention. All the time. I'm constantly bombarded by ads and things like that. And one of the things that I didn't want to do with this book was to have to sort of do that. And I'm probably doing a little bit of both. Like, I'm trying not to push too hard on my friends and family, and at the same time, come to the book launch, come to the things that we're doing, and hopefully it will inspire you to write. Matter of fact, I have just as an aside, now I'm doing a couple of events in Chicago. I think I'm doing something in Austin. And I think there is another thing in Los Angeles in November and December, as well as Phoenix. So there's all this stuff that's constantly needing to be juggled and explored, and it's weird and unusual. And so this is all the part of the writing life that is still all brand new. And so that's why it's a little bit weird. It's interesting. I had a friend of mine who basically said, "Hey, I need to write a book. How do you do it?" And I quite literally said, I sat him down and I broke it down. This is what I did, and this is how I did it, and this is what worked for me. And then there's this element of fortitude. And the initial steps I said to him were like, basically get some index cards and write down chapter ideas, and then maybe outline those chapters in the most mild way possible, just so you have a very rough idea of what you might want to accomplish during that chapter. And his response was like, "Wow, that sounds like it's so much stuff." And I was quick to point out that it really wasn't. It was actually probably about 25 minutes worth of work and $1 worth of blank index cards. But I understand his sort of, not his apprehension, because I actually think he's going to sit down and do some writing. But I think that his almost sense of overwhelm had nothing to do with the actual task. It had to do with that the task was so easy that actually accomplishing the task was like, how do you do that? How do your eyes get all big and frightened and terrified by this thing? And so that's kind of where I'm at. I'm a little bit of a deer in headlights, but I've gotten pretty good that I'm just going to keep taking action. Like, I think my main thing for this morning, which I've already accomplished, was to buy a cake at Costco. So I'm probably just going to say it's one of my other readers' birthday. We'll pretend, and I'll slice up some cake so people can have cake. And, I'll load up the car with paper plates. And then, I've already spoken and gotten the lowdown from the bookstore. So now it's just a matter of me going out into the world and doing that thing. And even though it's sort of weird that you just keep taking these action steps, even though, like I'm sort of starting this book tour and I don't know really, like, I'm not sure exactly how I'm supposed to think about things. And perhaps I'm not supposed to do any of that. Maybe I'm just supposed to keep showing up and telling the truth, and hopefully being entertaining enough where friends will tell friends and all that good stuff. And by the way, Jane, welcome, and Burke, welcome, and Randy, welcome. It's great to have you here. And so I think that's probably what I've got for today. I'm going to try and start doing this in a very regular way again, because I really liked doing it. It kept my mind focused on writing, and hopefully it was keeping you focused on writing as well. And Yasser, welcome. And so I think I'm going to, I'll probably give you an update of what happens tonight and talk about that. And as always, please consider hitting the like button or the wow button or telling your friends or leaving a comment, especially if it's regards to writing, or if you have any pearls, let me know. And Joanne, welcome. Good to see you. Perhaps I might see you tonight. I'm hoping that we do, because it's been many years. And so that's what I've got going on for Writing Daily today. And tomorrow I will be back to talk about tonight's event, maybe give maybe if I have some insights or updates on how that all works out as a writer. I'm going to throw those down. So anyway, I hope everybody is well and wonderful and writing daily, and I will talk to you all real soon.